First episode opens as Kara pens another letter to Spencer, revealing that loan sharks are on their tails. To pay off their debts, the Duttons have sold off much of their cattle and are now forced to hunt for their survival. Jacob, Kara, Jack, and Liz are bearing the winter together, and it looks as if they are in for the long haul. But before Jacob goes to town on business, he encounters a mountain lion resting on the front porch. The animal runs off the moment he gets too close, but its appearance gives him a reason to pause. No doubt, it is only a sign that more trouble is coming. Having been separated from his wife, Alex, Spencer works on a vessel traveling across the sea in hopes of making enough money to return to America. He quickly befriends a young Italian man named Luca, who he warns not to overfeed the ship's furnace. That evening, Spencer discovers that Luca has been repeatedly raped by another crew worker and wakes to find the culprit in the act once more. As a result, the Great War veteran beats the rapist within an inch of his life, saving Luca from further pain. When the ship's captain arrives to see the mess, he shoots and kills the rapist, reminding Spencer that his place is not to patrol this ship, but simply to work it. Meanwhile, in England, Alex is trapped in her home, visited by her friend Jennifer. Wasting away from grief after being ripped from her husband, Alex struggles to take care of herself. When she reveals to Jennifer that she is pregnant, and therefore running out of time to get to Spencer, it's only then that she asks for her friend's aid. "I belong with my husband," Alex pleads. "His child belongs with his father." She provides Jennifer with some family jewels and asks her to sell them so she can buy passage to America. Jennifer agrees, hoping to prove herself the sort of friend that Alex can count on. Afterward, Alex writes to Spencer, who continues to work aboard the ship, shoveling coal, only this time he does so alone and without Luca's aid. Concerned, he finds that Luca has left a suicide note in his bunk, though it is written in Italian rather than English. Spencer soon finds Luca sitting on the edge of the ship's rail, looking down at the passing water. He explains to his friend that the death would be painful and that he would be hurting the family members that he cares about most if he were to simply give up. It doesn't take long for Spencer to convince Luca that killing himself is not the answer, and they soon get back to work. Father Renaud travels with the U.S. Marshals in search of Tiana rainwater. Upon stumbling into a small Comanche camp, the Marshals attack the tribe and demand answers about Tiana. Of course, the tribe has never heard of a crow in their territory, but that doesn't stop Marshal Kent from threatening a small child at gunpoint. This proves too much for Father Renaud, however, who demands that Kent release the child. He does, but only to then run the child over with a horse instead as they leave to continue their quest. Elsewhere, Tiana is on the run with her father, runs his horse, and Pete. As Tiana and her father speak, he tells her that it is the American government's plan to run their people into the ground. "That's what governments want. They want beggars," runs his horse notes. But Tiana doesn't want to fight anymore. She has spent so much of her life fighting already. Nevertheless, runs his horse says the only way to protect what's theirs is to fight back for it. After Pete leaves to go hunting, runs his horse asks Tiana if she is interested in the young man and wants his hand in marriage. She admits as much and decides to reveal her intentions to Pete as well. As Pete is hunting, he spots Tiana, who begins to remove her clothes in front of him. When he follows her further into the woods, they are about to have sex before Pete spots a lone cowboy out in the distance. Hoping to gather Tiana's clothes to keep them from being discovered, the cowboy reveals that they are not in Oklahoma at all, but rather in Texas. Specifically, they are on a ranch owned by none other than Charles Goodnight. According to the cowboy, no one would mind if Pete was there, and no one would likely ever come looking for them either. With that in mind, Pete returns to Tiana and they pick up where they left off. Back in Bozeman, Jacob, Jack, and the others find themselves in a speakeasy of all places. While there, Jacob meets with Sheriff William McDowell and asks about Zane Davis and his family. At the end of Season 1, Zane, his wife, Alice Chow, and his children were beaten and arrested due to the mixed marriage laws in place at the time. Unfortunately, McDowell can't do much to help, though Jacob yearns to see Zane and his family reunited. Additionally, The sheriff warns Jacob about Whitfield, who hopes to claim the Dutton land by paying next year's property taxes. Jacob may have paid last year's, but he'll need a miracle to see this year's through. Meanwhile, on the ship, Spencer and Luca decide to start a fighting ring among the crew in hopes of earning more money for their travels. After Spencer beats a giant of a man first, he continues to fight more opponents, ultimately earning the pair $420 in total. With more hope than ever, Spencer goes to the deck and looks out as they approach their next destination. Elsewhere in London, Jennifer takes Alex to the docks, having gotten just enough money from the jewels to buy her passage to the New World. Additionally, Jennifer gifts Alex a watch to help her on her journey, hoping that one day she will be able to return it to her. As Alex enters the ship in the tourists section, full of thieves and gamblers, she exclaims that she is now headed toward her next adventure.